Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez clashed at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Christian Horner has opened up on Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez's team orders feud after the Dutchman fired a warning to his teammate. It comes weeks after Verstappen ignored the team's demand to let Perez through at the end of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Instead of slowing, Verstappen maintained his advantage and later claimed he had reasons for the snub. Horner stressed the pair needed some space to discuss disagreements before they got out of hand. He revealed the chat was important to clear the air and make sure things did not escalate ahead of an important season finale in Abu Dhabi. Speaking on Speedcafe's KTM Summer Grill, Horner said, "I think there's certain things that your drivers have the right to discuss in private between themselves. Not every conversation has to be covered through digital media and so on. The drivers had a good conversation after the race in Brazil. The air was absolutely clear. You could see that by the time they'd arrived in Abu Dhabi, and I think this has been a phenomenal pairing for Red Bull. They're both pretty grown-up individuals and they both have an open relationship with each other. So when if ever there is an issue, it gets discussed, it gets put on the table and you talk it through. I think communication is always the best way to deal with any issue and you know, Sergio is an experienced guy, he's been around a long time. He's a very rounded guy and Max is very much a straight shooter as well, and the two of them have always enjoyed a decent relationship and I just see that continuing." His comments come just days after Verstappen issued a warning to Perez about the role of number 2 drivers within the team. The reigning champion suggested some people just needed to accept a lead driver is better, and had to acknowledge their supporting role. He used the example of Valtteri Bottas during his time as Lewis Hamilton's teammate at Mercedes. However, the comments could just as easily relate to Perez after the Mexican scored just 2 race wins compared to Verstappen's 15 in 2022. Speaking about Bottas, Verstappen explained, "Every year he starts fresh. But after a few races you realize it's not going to happen again and you accept your role. He still finished on podiums, he won a few races and took pole positions. You just have to accept that the driver next to you is just a bit better. That's fine, that can happen. It's important that he accepted it. Some drivers can't do that and then it goes completely wrong, then they don't survive for very long. I'm not going to name names, but you have to accept your role. You can't live in a fairy tale world.